H.R. 1244, 1244. This piece of legislation would posthumously award a historic Congressional Gold Medal collectively to Africans and their descendants enslaved within our country from August 20th of 1619 to December 6th of 1865. I'm proud to be the original sponsor of this legislation. This legislation has 125 members on it, just as the legislation to recognize the heroes of the Holocaust had 290 plus members. This legislation has to have 290 members or more for it to pass the House. We have 125. This legislation was filed on February the 28th of 2023, about a month after the legislation was filed to honor the heroes associated with the Holocaust. Proud to be on both pieces of legislation. The legislation that we have filed to honor the persons who were enslaved, whose lives were sacrificed, has been in the House now for about the same length of time as the legislation to honor the heroes of the Holocaust. So let's just take a moment and read some of what this legislation that would honor those persons who were enslaved posthumously with the Congressional Gold Medal. I might add that the heroes of the Holocaust received this posthumous honor as we are trying to acquire the same for the persons who were enslaved. Here's how it reads. This is the dear colleague that we sent out to our colleagues here in Congress. Support the historic Congressional Gold Medal for America's economic foundational mothers and children, the enslaved. It reads, on July 18th, 1956, Congress, the House, and Senate awarded a Congressional Gold Medal to Confederate soldiers. And I might also add to soldiers who associated themselves with the Union. However, to this day, Congress has never awarded a Congressional Gold Medal to the over 10 million enslaved men, women, and children who toiled for over 240 years to build the economic and infrastructural foundation of the wealthiest nation ever to exist on our planet. These foundational mothers and fathers of our country labored arduously, constructing our cities, roads, bridges, and wells. They laboriously planted as well as harvested the food that fed our nation. They were the de facto producers of the cash crops that fueled our nation's foundational wealth. These enslaved human beings of African ancestry toiled as slaves without remuneration or recompense. Their humble hands were relied upon for the construction of some of our nation's most renowned edifices and monuments, including the White House, the Capitol Building, and the Washington Monument. In truth, their sacrificed lives provided the genesis of our nation's economic preeminence. These sacrificed human beings, men, women, and children, were the greatest contributors to the American foundational economy. Why would I say they were the greatest contributors? Because for more than 240 years, For more than 240 years, been estimated to be about 246, but for more than 240 years, they sacrificed their lives. Their lives were sacrificed. They didn't do it willingly. They were forced into slavery. They were enslaved, and it was intended that this would go on ad infinitum. It was never intended at the genesis of slavery that it would be for just a few months or a few years, maybe a few decades, 1 century. No, it was to be forever. Their lives were sacrificed to make America great. So if you're in this country today, regardless as to why you're here or how you arrived, know that you are standing on the sacrificed lives of more than 10 million people who were enslaved. And their enslavement is what has made this country what you see and what you experience today. Let me continue. Their contributions are almost universally forgotten, underrecognized, ignored, overlooked, and undervalued. For these and countless other justifications, this is what I said to my colleagues in the letter that I sent to them, asking for their support. For these and countless other justifications, I am beseeching Congress as a matter of conscience to award a Congressional Gold Medal collectively to the human beings who are the foundational fathers, mothers, and children that toiled as slaves without recompense or recognition for their unparalleled contribution to the infrastructural and economic development of the nation we enjoy today. We've awarded similar Congressional Gold Medals to others. My prayer is that we can do it for them. But we haven't. But that doesn't mean that what we did on Wednesday should not have occurred. I supported it. I believe that people of goodwill should have the courage to support the victims of the Holocaust and the heroes of the Holocaust. And just as I believe it strongly, I believe equally as strongly that people of goodwill, same people that signed on to the legislation so that we could have the vote on Wednesday, I believe people of goodwill, such as these people, can sign on to a bill to accord a Congressional Gold Medal to the enslaved persons, the economic foundational mothers and fathers of the country whose lives were sacrificed for more than 240 years to make America great.